Good evening, everyone. This is VijayLakshmi Singh. I'm faculty in the HRM area at IMT Ghaziabad. And today we are here, we are together for the webinar, which is on COVID-19, because we don't know how soon it will end. So, so the topic is also relevant, and hence, what are the challenges and opportunities, for higher education and employment in this, COVID era that we are living in. And so this is, the topic. And of course, within this topic for the next 1 hour, we are going to focus on what exactly are the challenges, the opportunities, as well as since we have alums, with us, we will be also trying to, gauge their experiences, professional experience, and their understanding of the industry, the organizations that they are working with, and what exactly is going around, so that our students, our participants can gain insight and understand, how to lead in times of uncertainty that we are living in. And with this, I would like to introduce, the panelists. We have, with us Professor Rashmi Aggarwal. She is a professor in the economics and environment policy area here. She's also a chairperson, executive program. And we also have with us Professor Bikramjit Rishi. He is associate professor in the area of marketing here. And yes, he has also been, held positions, both in obviously our participants and alums know him very well as exec chair, and he has also taken care of part-time programs. So we have veterans with us, and we also have, alums as a special mention, and we are glad to have them with us. We have Mr. Soumitra Das. Hi. Yeah. So we have Mr. Soumitra Das. He is an entrepreneur, and he has taken the leap to, take risk and set up his own business. And we also have with us Ms. Juuhi Rajput. Hi, Ms. Juuhi. Is she here? Just wanted to say hi, so that I guess we have lost connection. I guess I had seen.
Yes, there, but I think his network is not working.
Okay, yeah, that is what. No issues. We have with us Ms. Juuhi Rajput, and she is managing director at Arrucus Media Private Limited. Yes, so with this, I would like to begin by inviting, Professor Rashmi Aggarwal to begin. And, I'll begin with faculty who would be focusing on, in the context of education, higher education space, what are the challenges and opportunities. So, ma'am, over to you. Let's discuss what exactly are, in this era, what are the challenges. Obviously, we'll then later talk also about the opportunities, because I believe that we need to transform the challenges into opportunities. There's no way, there's no option. We have to, and I'm sure we will. So, but let's start talking about the challenges first. Yes, ma'am.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah. We can't hear. Yeah. Yes,
so, good evening, everybody. It is such a pleasure. I'm sorry, I just got a call. So, it's such a pleasure to be amongst you all. I would call these to be testing times, but fate always favors the brave ones. So I will assume we are the brave ones here. And it's pretty ironical. I was thinking in January or in February that in Italy there was a lockdown, and I was wondering, what is this lockdown really? Because in my law course, I did not come across this particular term. So out of curiosity, I looked into different statutes, and you'll be surprised to know that legally speaking, there is no term called as a lockdown, even a curfew for that matter. These terms are not there. So these are those administrative terms which the district magistrates according to the situation in their cities, will tell you what is a lockdown. So definitions will differ. And I think that is the biggest challenge, right? That everybody is going to respond to COVID-19 differently. So even if we may have one generic term, the issues are how are we going to relate this back to the situation being faced by us, and what is going to be the administrative response, because of which we cannot expect a class of maybe 60 to be physically be present in front of us as we would have expected last year. Some of them may be from rural areas and they may have no means to travel all the way to their classrooms. So, and some of them may be just across the road and still because of a curfew, they may not be able to make it to your class. So these are very difficult situations. I mean, nobody could have guessed that this could have happened, right? So I feel this is the biggest challenge to see a different kind of a setup. I would like to call it a new order. New order was something that the French philosophers had mentioned, and when they had the revolutions in mind. So I think COVID-19 is bringing us to a new order, which we are not accustomed to. But I also feel that this is a big opportunity, right? Which VijayLakshmi has promised. She will give us a chance to speak about the opportunities as well. But I feel the challenge for me is not to see anybody in front of me and still behave as if I'm taking a class, and still expect me to be disciplined, still expect 100% engagement and very effective learning outcomes. For me, this is a very challenging proposition to be in.
Thank you. Thank you. Very valid points, I would say. And indeed, this is one of the core challenges. Now, Professor Rishi, I would also like you to, also talk about what are the challenges, particularly in the higher education space, that we are confronting.
I think the major challenge is of existence. We have to exist as human beings, and that existence is on stake. And when we look at this, I will say that the existence is challenged in context to the livelihood that we want to live with food, with clothes, with home. Okay, and why I'm saying this? Because the latest report from Economic Times is indicating that in India, there will be 135 million job losses because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
And that is posing a major challenge that 120 million population of India will be moved toward poverty. And if they are going towards poverty, all industries, not even education, will face a challenge in terms of demand, in terms of supply, in terms of everything, what they're doing as companies. So that is why I said that existence, challenges of existence for everybody, existence for industry, existence for as human beings. So going beyond, I was referring to one another report where I understood that from the education point of view, what is going to be more important is the way we are delivering education that is changing, which Rashmi also referred to. Now, the way we are delivering, we are moving from face-to-face classes to online. And the challenge is in context to not only as a faculty that I'm facing the challenge, the students are also have the challenge to grasp it, to see that how they can apply it, to see that how it really works in the reality, because there is again a gap, whether you're talking about challenge in terms of summer internships, challenge in terms of getting projects from industry, everything is going online. Even the students are doing their internships online. So challenge is there that I, as a student, is not even being seeing that this is how it is being done. Another challenge is that, which I feel, and I'm seeing it, that education industry, particularly the higher education space across the globe, will change in terms of how, particularly the MBA education is delivered. Previously, we were like more focusing on specializations. We were very clear in terms of that this is the niche area which every student has to develop, and he or she is going to carry it, to the market. Now, what in reality is changing, which I feel that I can compare it with a typical mutual fund disclaimer, where they formally state that they famously state that past performance is no guarantee of future results. So that is where I will say that all the institutions, past performance will be, will not determine that you will be successful in future also. That is the challenge for every institution's existence. That whether it, even I will say the big institutions like Harvard, Stanford, and others also. So they are moving towards the way they were delivering education and what they are doing now. So from that point of view, what is the challenge is that uh, uh, there is a lot of focus traditionally which was on specialization. I think, in my opinion, this focus is going to change because these challenges which are coming up are not looking for specialization. They are looking for a generalist, person who can manage it. He's having opinion about all the functional areas, not working as silos. So if I looked at a few reports and I reached at a point where I will say that there is a lot of focus on depth, and that time has come that we as institutions or we as faculty has to rethink of our love affair with depth. The pendulum between depth and breadth has swung too far in favor of depth, and I will say that now it move towards another angle, and that will also be a challenge for institution, for faculty to look upon it. So challenges are not that how I'm delivering, so one, how I'm coping as a student, two, how I'm coping as an institution, three, and how I'm coping as education industry, four. So there is multiple challenges, and how I'm becoming relevant for the market in this context, how I'm going to place my students. So there are multiple challenges emerging, and I think there will be a major shift which will come, and we have to face this shift and we have to change ourselves according to this shift.
Thank you, Professor. Still, I would, since now I want to also talk about, the opportunities. So I would like to begin with you. I'll come back to Rashmi ma'am in the higher education space. So yeah, at least if you can, I know you have spoken for long, so at least a few pointers in terms of how to transform these into opportunities. I know these are the challenges very much, very rightly explained by you. And so what are the few solutions and how to overcome these challenges?
So one of the solutions which is very relevant for higher education industry is that, as I already said, that you have to reinvent the wheel, reinvent the education, how you are delivering it. That is an opportunity, okay? And in that opportunity, those institutions will succeed or will get success, who will be able to reinvent themselves. One. Now, second thing which is very important in that reinventing process, when you are changing yourself, uh, how you are making yourself relevant to industry is another opportunity, and you have to see and you have to understand how industry is changing, and with that change, how you are bringing that change in your curriculum, mapping it to the industry requirements so that you as an institution will also be successful. Third, which will be a major challenge in terms of how you will get students. And in that perspective, I will say that there is an opportunity existing. There is a move in terms of consumption, how we are consuming content, how we are consuming media. So you people or everybody may be seeing that there's a lot of change in the way the newspapers are not read, hard copies. Previously, traditionally the newspaper, education institutions were giving ads in the newspapers, were having, job fairs, education fairs, and everything is gone. Everything is not there. Okay, so the challenge here, the opportunity here is the digital media. Opportunity here is that how I'm, because again there is a clutter. If you are having 10,000 universities in India, and every university is creating a platform to reach students, then there will be a clutter in the system, and digitally there is already clutter existing in the Indian market. Okay, and it is not, but there is an opportunity existing at the same time. That opportunity is how effectively I am using gamification, how I am using AR, artificial intelligence, how I am using social media to reach my target audience and try to see them that there is a value which I am providing as a higher education institution, which is meeting the requirements of the industry, and that is what the opportunity which is most important as an education institutions, they have to dive into in that direction.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Professor Rishi. Thank you. I'll go back to Professor Rashmi. Yes, in the context of higher education space, what do you think would you like to add in terms of, what are the opportunities and, how to transform them, the challenges into, some opportunities, and what might be the solutions? Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you have to mute yourself. Unmute.
Yeah, did I?
Yeah,
Did I?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. See, that's what is technology, right? So, so what I feel is, VijayLakshmi, that one of the major and one of the most, glaring opportunities that are really knocking at our door is that don't restrict yourself to your resources which are local. So let's say I want a faculty to teach in my course. I don't have to limit myself to Delhi NCR. I can go across India or maybe across world, get the best resource for my students, right? Because they're not going to travel any which ways, right? So there are no air tickets, no visas. It's just the online thing. So let me go to the best in the world and let me hire them for my course. So it will be a good engagement for the students as well as for us also. And I think there has never been a better opportunity to be more integrative in our approach. Locally, globally, internationally. So now when I look for a faculty for any of my courses, I just don't restrict myself anymore. I say, okay, let me go and explore somebody in Europe. Let me go and find somebody from innovation from Japan, right? And let me have a translator. Let me put Google Translator into picture. So that limitation is not there. And I think this is a significant opportunity and we must explore it more. Yeah, that's what I feel. And similarly for the students, I don't have to limit myself that, whether they'll be able to commute all the way. I just have to find the right fitment for my program. And if I can, engage them online, and if I feel that technology can be an enabler, then in that case, sky is the limit. I think we have to take a deep dive. So sky is the limit, and we have to just see what is the next orbit that we have to get in.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Next I would like to, of course, now move on to alums, and they have been waiting, and so are the participants. And so with that, I would like to invite Mr. Soumitra. Mr. Soumitra, yes. So would you like to talk about, what are the challenges and opportunities in the context of employment, as far as your professional experience is concerned, and what you can see around yourself, and what is the way forward? What do you think? So, Mr. Soumitra, over to you.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for including me, and I love to be part of this panel. And so I think I agree completely with what was spoken earlier. That what we are seeing right now is that we are, in any case, we were going towards digital transformation. What this event has done is actually accelerate that. So, I mean, either in the industry or in education, we were all looking at this. Yes, now in a digital world, like there would be challenges, like we would not be able to really look into students' eyes and see their sort of feedback into, I mean, which is something that we all as faculty would definitely miss. But there are other opportunities that we can have. Like, for example, we could do simulations. I mean, the in terms of digital world, in terms of the meeting, and in terms of technology, I think there is a lot which is changing, and which is available as a tool. So, like I agree that, I mean, as a student, I think there is an opportunity to kind of go and take up courses which are much more relevant towards what the job or career that you would want to take. So from that point of view, that it's really, really, I mean, it would be good. It is also in terms of at your time. So that's another good thing, that while it could be a limitation that you need to kind of have. Now you could have recorded sessions even if you cannot join a live session, kind of a thing. And so those are good things. In terms of work, I think in terms of what we would see is this is really a black swan event. I mean, something that none of us can simulate, really, that how many job losses would be there. Only after a couple of months we would be able to see this. However, it is clear that there would be some areas where immediately there would be a disruption, and that is what we have seen. So obviously, those companies, I mean, for companies, it is not just a question of maintaining their cash flow or something like that. It is a question of even the survival. So we would see many companies actually struggling to survive because many companies will not have that kind of a cash flow. However, I mean, with this challenges also, there are a lot of companies which are also innovating, trying out new things. Like there are chemical companies who are now have kind of converted their lines into to produce disinfectants. Right, there are companies who are who are now getting into masks or PPE equipment. So things which are the need of the times, and companies which have been innovative are thinking of new supply chain. So so in terms of those things, so while it is something that we cannot model. Now we cannot say that hey, in this sector there would be employment increasing, in this sector. I mean, we would see even localized things. Like, for example, today we have a lockdown in Delhi. So if I am a dental surgeon, I would not be able to practice in Delhi. But if I was in some other place, my practice would be open. So I cannot have one single model for my entire operations or business. Right? So that is what we see is there. But there would be wage premium also on a few roles. So, like for example, logistics. So we would see disruptions, we would see this. And another important thing that would happen, I think, is there would be an emergence of gig economy. So companies would look for people who do specific roles and join a project team for a couple of months, deliver what is required on that particular project, and then move on. So I mean, I think for us, it is important. I mean, for us who are like coming to IMT and preparing for a career, it is important for us that okay, it is not necessary that we should just look for a full-time employment. I think we should be ready to be consultants. We should be ready to do freelance jobs because and we could actually, if we are good at our skills, we could actually see that we would probably earn the same or even more, and also have bring the passion, because I mean in employment we often find that you need to do what the company wants you to do. Here you could bring your passion to do what you love to do, right? So that's what I see in terms of the employment and in the future.
Very well said, Mr. Soumitra. Thank you so much for your insights. Absolutely, I agree. With your points, and with that, and I thank you for that. I would now like to invite Ms. Juuhi. Ms. Juuhi, kindly share your views and thoughts, perspectives as your professional experience is concerned regarding what are the challenges and opportunities that you are facing and you are observing around, and what insights would you like to share with the participants? Over to you, Ms. Juuhi.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. It's a pleasure and an honor to share the panel with my esteemed professors. Thank you so much. So I'd like to begin with what needs to be done, maybe just a small, short overview. We all know that there are challenges, as Rishi sir mentioned, that all the stakeholders are facing challenges. So if we do a stakeholder mapping and identify important stakeholders, then we have government as one of the important stakeholder. We have educational institutes, we have students, we have employers, we have financial institutes and global associations. So what is it that everybody can do to kind of make sure that we can build resilient education system in the long term? So as far as government is concerned, they need to ensure now we are moving digital. Gone are the times when chalk talk teaching model used to happen. Now we have to kind of, now the education will be totally driven by technology, at least for a few months or few years. So infrastructure is the first thing that needs to be ensured by the government. Over the past 6 years, there has been a gradual growth in the government's commitment to digital India. In the Union Budget 2020-21, Finance Minister has increased the outlay, but I think they'll have to really push towards digital India. because keeping in mind the kind of population we have in our country. Also, the integration of different schemes, like we have smart cities, we have Digital India, we have skill development programs. Like I know for sure, I organized a program where we gave awards to some of the smart cities because they initiated some smart school projects. So I think it is happening, and they need to identify which are the best models and which and then they need to kind of implement it at a larger scale, and they need to be integrated. So maybe these programs are happening in silos, and I think it usually happens, but I think we need to integrate it, and we need to keep in mind that what is the long term objective and how can we leverage each other's strength.
Yeah.
So also accessibility, the immediate measures that need to be taken is to ensure the continuity of learning in government schools and universities. So we have to use the technologies, we have Diksha platforms, etc., which have reach across all states in India. So we need to further strengthen these platforms to ensure accessibility of learning. So also improving the quality of and demand for higher studies in India. So now we know that I was just reading a report. After China, I think large number of Indian students enroll in universities abroad, especially in countries worst affected by the pandemic like US, UK, Australia, and China. So many students will now be barred from leaving the country. And if this kind of a situation persists, there will be a decline in the demand for international higher education. So this is, I mean, on one hand, it is a challenge. It is also an opportunity for Indian institutions to kind of attract these students.
Yeah.
Apart from that, so demand for higher studies will definitely go high as far as our country is concerned. So now we also need strategies to prepare the higher education sector for the evolving demand supply trends. Like Mr. Das and our professors mentioned that now different kind of trends will emerge. As far as human resources concerned, different kind of skills will be required. So I think ministry and the governments, they need to kind of make sure that this gap they're able to fill. They're able to identify that what is going, and this is to be done by both government and educational institutes, both. Also, to establish quality assurance mechanisms and quality benchmark for online learning developed and offered by Indian institutes. So I think now everybody will do that. That how to really, then how can students differentiate that which one is best and which one is, should be preferred over others. So I think this kind of a mechanism to be developed by the government. Now, what could educational institutes do? So they have to, of course, reconsider the current delivery and pedagogical methods in higher education by integrating classroom learning with e-learning models. I think this is one of the biggest challenge which remains with professors and education. But I'm sure they can do that. I think this shift was anyway required. We were anticipating this earlier, and now it has become necessity. So I'm sure also improve the quality of higher studies in India. And also it is important for educational institutes. How can they ensure internship?
I think there is connect. Ms. Juuhi, I think there is a slight disconnect because of network issues.
Yeah, so maybe we can add to whatever was being said. Yeah. So what I personally feel is that, as a community, we have to really rise to this challenge and to this occasion, because there has to be a sense of giving back, right, to the society, which we do that in a lot of tangible ways, right? We believe in charity, we believe in a lot of those things. But I think if we can give education also to be, something which should not have a quid pro quo, right? It's make small videos, make very interactive videos, something that comes to mind, share our research openly with the community to whom it really matters. I think that really would bring a lot of people on board. Not feel that this is something very secretive, and if I'm not going to get any commercial returns, I would not be forthcoming with my knowledge. I think we really have to open up. We have to be very forthcoming and share our experience, our expertise, and it doesn't matter what are we going to get in return. I think that is something very important.
Exactly, ma'am. You have just spoken the point. I was thinking that it's this is a testing time. Of course, it's very challenging, but it's also a time probably where we can introspect, put a halt on our self goals, and talking from a purely business perspective, right now, I think, yeah, we need to be more empathetic also. And you told, give back to society, especially if we are concerned with higher education. Definitely, there's so much to do. And right now is the time to, reboot ourselves. I think it's also time to learn more and, and because there's requirement in future like already suggested, new skills, new competencies required, generalist. We need probably in future we'll be requiring to make more adjustments, more, navigate more changes. That means, take more intelligent and difficult decisions. Okay,
Yep.
so this is a time we do that at a self level, and also provide as with more empathy towards others. And probably if we do this, this is a time to gain trust, gain credibility, and focus on that. Keep doing good work. Probably deepen our roots, and the business, I'm sure, will obviously, like change is not the first time. Be it, I know this is right now, it's like it seems that crisis is the leader, but
Yeah.
yes, inevitably this will also pass, we know that. And business is going to come, things will become normal, so everything, the
Yeah, I mean,
profitability and
yes,
all that
too.
can come later.
Yeah.
It will come later.
Agree.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree, because my kids are going to the school, and one thing I see coming out very strongly is that they're losing focus very fast. So I think focus has to be on. We have to be smart, and we have to rejuvenate ourselves, and not lose the focus. I think that's very
Absolutely.
critical. Yeah.
Right.
Because the challenge is right now, it's not that we don't need learning. It's all the more, the problem
All
is
the
that
more
we need a
important.
different
Yeah.
set of learning, a different set of competencies, and probably, not just competencies, new technology, learning of new technologies, and which is, ever going to change. I think this is going to be a challenge, and we have to, in fact, ace up our learning skills to learn. In
Yeah.
fact, okay.
True.
Otherwise, we all will be obsolete. At every stage, every generation, and that pace has to increase. So, in fact, right now it's a time to learn more and become better for the future. Yeah, yeah.
If I can add,
Yes, please.
yeah. So I think the challenge for the institutes would be in terms of bringing the experiential learning, which was there in the classroom, to how do I convert it into a digital medium. So, like for example, I do a lot of trainings on on digital marketing, right? And I had to completely convert that, because I have just about 3 or 4 slides. Earlier, it used to be like a 20 slide training that I used to take in a face-to-face medium.
Okay.
But now I just have 2 or 3 slides, and that too just to kind of make a beginning, because I want to make it, and so it's more like a workshop now. So I think even educational institute would over a period of time have this opportunity to make it more experience, and especially for MBA, and which is the kind of education which is linked to the industry, and which is there. And I see is that institutes could collaborate. Like ma'am, you just said, Rashmi ma'am, that we can give, institutes could collaborate instead of being secretive. I think, like for example, IMT could be developing some great courses in a couple of areas, but may not be able to develop in all the areas that are required. So, but there could be a University of Sydney or even Harvard, which has a course in one of the areas which could be of interest. Can a student not take up a course from IMT, get the basic thing, but get a credit for doing a course from an online course from a different university? So if there is a collaboration like that, then it would be, I think, beneficial for everybody. And
Valid point, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Ms. Juuhi, are you back? You want to make your concluding remarks, or are you there? Because we had lost you in between. Okay, I think Um, okay, coming, since Ms. Juuhi is not able to connect, I would also like to ask you, Mr. Soumitra, um, because you have been, what had been your experience, academic experience here, and then your success, story, and right now, what message would you like to give to the candidates, to our prospective students, our participants for the webinar? Because I'm sure right now you can understand they're having a lot of concerns. I'm sure it is for everyone. Whether to pursue, what to pursue, what will happen, and so on. So many ifs and buts and how and what questions must be there. So can you relate and give some insights into it?
Yeah, sure. So I think so. I had before coming to IMT, I had an engineering degree, and so now engineering teaches you a lot of analytical skills. However, I actually joined HCL, and then I realized that hey, just my technical skills and my analytical skills is not good enough. So today we talk about EQ, right? Today I also need to know in terms of how do I deal with people, how do I deal with with strategies, right? Which is something which is not part of things. So I think I joined IMT with that objective, and I think it was a great experience. I think because you develop skills which is exactly what you apply in an everyday situation. So that really helps, and I think that continues with IMT. And I think like the other day I was talking to somebody who's part of Hotstar, and he heads marketing there, and he told me about doing a course from IMT on on data analysis. So while his job is sales, he did a course from data analysis because it was his passion. And now he says that he realizes that his job has transformed, because even though he's part of sales, all that he is doing, because when he makes a company presentation, he has to present data about the viewership and other things, which is all analytics. So
That is why I said, journalist role.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. I understand. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So I think we should look at and the education here at IMT more from that application point of view, and which is something that I'm really proud of, that IMT has always carried on that tradition of having courses which are in line with what the industry needs.
Okay. Coming back to you, Ms. Juuhi, I can see you. And yes, I think we had lost you in between. So you were making a point then. And besides that, I would also like you to, as our alum, share your experience and advise probably our participants, our prospective candidates, because right now I'm sure, like anyone else, there are a lot of questions in their mind, right? Whether to pursue education, what to pursue, what will happen. There are a lot of questions. So if you can relate to, and if you were in their situation now, what you would be thinking and how would you be taking the decision? Yes, over to you.
Juuhi, unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for this question. I think, what would I do? So I think it's a very valid question. So what I would suggest all these students who are participating or attending this webinar today, that use this time, because I think it's a country is experiencing recession. I think whole world. So as far as jobs are concerned, there is a lot of uncertainty in next 1 or 2 years. So what you can possibly do is to build your skills. Uh, Skills that will drive your employability, productivity, and well being in the decades to come. Use this period to acquire knowledge and maybe earn degrees, not just for the sake of it, but so that it can help you in the future. Join forums which can help you all in showcasing your strengths, your talents, and help in creating a network. So as far as I am concerned, I was planning to do my PhD for some time after doing my MBA from IMT. Luckily I got through this time. So I feel when we kind of have this kind of a period where we know that we can't really engage ourselves with work, so I think the best is to acquire knowledge. No matter how much you do, it will always help. I think degrees or knowledge is one thing, education is one thing which can help you till last minute of your life. So I think you should utilize this time and maybe enroll yourselves. Management, of course, is definitely a very good idea if you're working in the industry, because it helps you in becoming it having a knowledge about each and every aspect of organization. So like why I did that, if I ask myself that why did I join IMT in 2013, I was doing business since 2006. So having non-commerce background, there were many functions which I was not able to understand. For instance, finance. So I thought, if I'll do MBA, then maybe I'll start understanding, how to, I'll start understanding these organizational fundas, or maybe, how to really run a company, what marketing is all about, what finance is all about. So I think it really helped me a lot. So the only objective for me was to understand, management practices. And I would say IMT, of all the educational institutions that I have attended so far, I think IMT has given me really a lot. For one reason, that professors are awesome in a way that they are very well read, they're well experienced, they have national and international experience, and they're very understanding. Because I think part-time, these students who are attending this webinar today, I think you all are interested in joining part-time course. And I was also part-time student, so I know what kind of challenges we face. We have to kind of deal with work, with home, and then additionally, we kind of take this educational course. So I mean, so it is definitely very, very difficult to kind of create a balance. But I think if your professors are supportive, then I think everything is sorted. So I think I've had a wonderful experience, and I would definitely suggest you to go for please upgrade yourself, and please join courses that will help you in future.
Thank you, Ms. Juuhi, so much for your insights. And yeah, so I think any other point, if you would like to add, you can definitely raise your hand. Otherwise, right now I intend to take up the questions because there are a lot of queries, and yeah. So okay, distance education is job and regular education. Okay, so well, not related to this program, particularly this question, but yeah, so people are trying to understand, how to take decisions, because, for example, there's one person who's asking, they're interested in distance education. So what would be a precise comparison of distance education with a job and regular education? Which one would you suggest and why? So, yeah, Ms. Juuhi, you would like to?
Yes,
Yeah.
I like to suggest. I think there is a lot of difference. Distance education is like you have all the course material. You can go through it. You can read as many books as you want. But I think for that you don't really need to. I mean, you can join a course, but when you actually study, from if you do a part time, then I think you have an opportunity to interact with your professors. What is the significance of that? The professor, what exactly do we mean by the professor and online? So I think professors, they spend 10 years, 20 years, 30 years reading their subject. So they are the masters of their subject. And what they, the kind of knowledge they gather in 20, 30 years, they try to, transfer that knowledge to you in few classes, in half an hour. The best of that, they feel that they should be transferred. So I think there's a lot of difference. I think nothing can beat, a part-time, or I mean, regular course, or maybe at least part-time course.
Thank you.
I think we got a lot of insights. We got a lot of insights from our professors. So I think nothing can beat that.
Yeah, I think the interaction, that you have, be it, the direct interaction, nothing can take that.
One more thing I'd like to add.
Yeah.
So it is one, one, you gain knowledge from your professors. Second is like in part-time specifically, students are from different fields. So what really makes the interaction very enriching and the experience very enriching is that, different students share the experiences. Interaction among students is also makes a lot of difference.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly the point that I was trying to make is a lot of peer learning happens during these interactions. So I think it's nobody can really beat that. I mean, there is no experiential learning through a computer or through any reading material that can be countered as compared to peer group learning. It can happen
Okay.
only in the classroom setting.
Totally.
There's yeah, thanks for the answers.
VijayLakshmi, I want to
Yeah,
add
sure,
something.
please, sir.
There are two very important points to remember when you are deciding a course. Okay, one is that what type of job I will get after completing this course, where I want to see myself. Okay, so distance learning will not take you anywhere because there is no value addition in terms of the knowledge, in terms of skills. Because you are reading something, that reading is not going to add any value. There will be some theoretical angle which will be added, but how you are going to take that to practice, that will not be there. So there is no practice orientation, there is no case studies, there is no projects which you are going to do. So there is no addition of skill. Second, how you see it from Indian industry point of view, that how the value is being seen by the companies in terms of whether they are preferring a distance learning program for recruitment or a regular part-time MBA program or any other regular program. Yes, there is a difference. Most of the companies are considering candidates who have done a regular program because they are companies, your employer also understands that the regular program adds value. Because I will be very blunt here in saying that if you are doing a distance learning program, majority of the solved solutions are already available on the net. And you are just copying it and pasting it and submitting your assignment to complete the course. So think very clearly what value add it is going to make. Okay, so that is what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Professor Rishi. And I'll move on to the next question. So this is regarding a candidate wants to know what are the opportunities there in revenue assurance in future and currently. Revenue assurance. I know this is a very topical question, and uh, for the finance experts, and yeah, thankfully I'm not. So, and so, what are the opportunities in revenue assurance? Any idea, anyone?
I think Rishi sir had mentioned that past
Yeah,
performance cannot guarantee future, performance. Or so I think the kind of a scenario we're living in, nobody can give the guarantee for anything. So I think
yeah,
even if we ask Harvard or like number one or number two in the world, I think even they won't be able to promise, given the kind of conditions we have right now. So I think, right now looking at it from the point of view of revenue assurance, see, one thing is for sure, any kind of an education or any kind of a course will definitely help you in some other point of life. Maybe not immediately after like, completing the course, but this will definitely help you. So I think students should not look at it from this point of view. Maybe they have to be a little patient. In fact, everyone, like I'm running a business, I know that in next 1 or 2 years there's a lot of uncertainty. So even I myself can't assure myself and my employees that what kind of a business we'll be doing. Mr. Das, I think he's working with some organization that must be true for him as well. I think for any educational institute also. So I think we all are facing these challenges, and nobody has any clear-cut answer for this kind of a question. Even government does not have.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
so many industries which are suffering, and there's so many sectors. So I think what I would suggest you is that look at it from a long-term point of view. Try to use this period, lean period, I would say, to gain knowledge. And then maybe, and along with that, of course, you have to sharpen your skills as well. Other skills, because I was just going through, I was reading one of the articles where they had mentioned that which are the areas which are going to do well in, next few years. So I think I can share it maybe later if you want to share that list with them. But I think just look at it from the point of view of gaining knowledge. There is absolutely no assurance right now.
Yeah, I think, yeah, absolutely. I second your opinion. And, gone are the times of assurance right now. Crisis is a leader, as I told. And anything assurance related, I think it's not going to work, at least, in the temporary phase. And I think we should rather focus, instead of getting assurance in terms of, more learning and performing. And having confidence to, gain the values which is accrued, on behalf of our efforts. Yes, Professor Rishi, you want to make a point, I guess. Yes.
I think assurance is again with you, not with the institution. Okay, so the challenge here is how I'm identifying my potential, what I want to do in next 5 years, and how I'm identifying those industries which will grow because of this COVID situation. What will be the new opportunities which will emerge, and how my skill set, which I'm going to learn through this program, will add value to get a job in those areas.
Right.
That answers that what will be the return ROI I will get from the program. Okay, the agenda is not that you're asking the institution, agenda is with you. What you are bringing on the table in the classroom and how you are adding value to it to take that to the market to sell yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. I think as a student, as a prospective student, one has to definitely focus in the time, coming times, what are going to be, the particular profiles and functions and sectors which are, going to boom. And I think that is how one needs to make intelligent decisions and plan with content, right? So I think, yes. I think I would request our faculty to answer this question. I'm about to take admission in the 3 years part-time PGDM program. How will COVID impact the curriculum and teaching module? Will e-learning be integrated? Well, yeah, should you
unmute yourself?
Yeah. So e-learning 100% will be integrated. There is absolutely no question about it. All the infrastructure is getting geared up. We are introducing smart boards, smart classrooms, better Wi-Fi's. Everything is bound to get integrated. And let's see how how we will come to the bridge, and we'll start building the bridge when we come to it. So,
yeah.
So I think we have to wait and.
Yeah, I would like to also, add to this point in the sense, I know students might be having this, concern that, are we shifting to online? It's not that exactly we're shifting. See, we are more than glad to, roll back to our offline. Nothing like campus, right? Nothing can beat that. That's for sure. I think at both ends, at the faculty and the student level, and we are very well prepared now. But given the kind of times we are living in, and we have to follow government mandates. Now, if the government mandates that it has to be hybrid or it has to be online, for a certain time period, then we have no choice but to follow that. And for that, we are very well prepared. Okay, so that is what the point is. Obviously, we are not changing the mode of the program by any chance, but then if it is required, we are very well equipped and geared. And and we are working towards it in terms of improving the experience, and without making any compromise on the rigor of the program, in terms of any compromise in the structure, in the architecture of the program, in terms of following the calendar and the terms. That is sacrosanct. That is going to be fixed. There is no change at all. It's only the mode and delivery, and that is obviously dependent. It is contingent upon the guidelines going to be issued. Okay.
Yeah, and we will have to wait and see what's the new normal.
Absolutely. We, obviously we are all, itching to, get back to our normal. Okay. Yeah.
Nothing like scolding students in the class.
Ma'am, we never did that. We were very lucky. I think after school, it was IMT where I felt that, okay, professors can be nice too. I mean, I had a wonderful experience. Otherwise, I was so scared of teachers in school and college.
How nice of you. But you were a brilliant student, Juuhi. So
Thank
exceptions,
you.
Exceptions are always there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I've already answered, these questions, because the next question is already related to the discussion that I have, but still I'll read out the question. If IMT can include digital advancement skills for both the faculty as well as the students, where they can learn at the same platform from industry experts and also work on ideas that can curb the challenges that we anticipate to face during our classes, okay, be it student-teacher interaction or be it peer interaction among the students. So exactly, I think that is what we told. I think Professor Rashmi, you did mention about the smart classrooms that we are we are already imparting training inside for students also. All that obviously is going to be done, and we understand that we need, before the actual class starts, if we are mandated, the hybrid or the online mode, then we have to be very well prepared and comfortable with the tools.
Yeah, but I think this generation has to be prepared for a blended learning.
Right.
I mean, no matter what, we have to be ready for that. Mentally, we have to be very, very ready for that.
Yeah, better to learn that because in future, this is not going to die down. This future, this is a trend which is going to increase.
Yes,
okay.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah. Okay. Another question. I hope. I think probably the last or second last question. So just, I'm planning to join the part-time MBA program, and I got selected, but because of COVID, classroom education will get impacted. So we will have to attend classes online. So again, similar question. Would our faculty would like to answer, or?
I think it's just, we can just reaffirm the same thing, that, we'll do our best, right? Even if it is online, offline, the curriculum, the pedagogies, the assurance of learning, that is not changing, right? But we have to rise up to the occasion. These are very unprecedented times. And at all costs, there's no risk. We will definitely not take a risk with any of our students, because that's most important for us. And there is no way we will like to have them on campus if we feel that, even if there's an iota of a doubt about anything. So that is the prime thing. That's the main important priority for us, and nothing at the cost of our students' lives and their well-being and their safety. Rest all is assured that whatever decisions that we will take will always be towards the betterment of their learning outcomes. That is the assurance that we can give them at this point of time.
Absolutely.
And I think
yes.
It is a professional program, and you are joining as a professional. As a professional, you have to decide, whether I'm learning online or offline, what value add I can make to myself. The question is more with you. And we as a faculty are geared up. I'm already teaching a course online. I already delivered one course, second is going on, and I don't see any difference in terms of what I was doing in the classroom. I'm still pulling the students in the online classroom also, and what I was doing in the offline classroom. That is similar type of experience. There is no difference.
A similar question. In addition to that, you can actually continue, because I think this question is regarding. So, like in an MBA, we know it is not just theory. It is more about the rigor and the experiential, the peer learning, the interaction with the teachers. That exposure. So, how students are having a question if there's a need for hybrid, or let's assume fully online, then how they are going to benefit from experiential learning, because to be honest, so then they cannot understand how online they'll be having this experiential learning. So yes.
So all the tools which are being applied to teach online, there is breakout rooms which are being created. In that breakout room, you are having a group of 5 students. You are giving a situation, maybe a case study, maybe a role play, where you are performing. So that is what I said. I don't see any difference what I was doing in the class and what I'm doing online. And you are being recorded, and you are more serious rather than, I will say, because in the classroom you are the only one you are doing with the faculty. Now you are being seen by others also, and your IT team is also seeing you what you are doing. So you are becoming more serious rather than what you was doing in the offline classroom. And I don't see any difference. So breakout rooms, you are actually, I even doing training online. I did training for few companies, and I'm doing a program for Maruti also online. So I don't see any difference, because it is giving that type of atmosphere, that type of conditions which were similar to in the offline learning. So there is no difference as such. So I don't think that there is any reason to think about it, because there is no, as Rashmi ma'am said, that assurance of learning remains the same. So we have to apply those things. So there is no way we can go out of it.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. So
Thank
very
you.
well said. Yeah. You would like to make a point? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just saying that in a MBA program, I think it is important. I mean, this is adult learning. This is not like I would not expect that people to actually come and spoon feed me kind of a thing. It is something that I need to learn. So I need to be. I would need to use the teachers, the faculty more as my guides, where I'm not able to understand something. So I think for all the students here, it is something that you need to, and I mean, I think I would just want to say that, like, look, come to the program with objectives that, hey, I don't know these things. And like Juhi just said, that she said that, look, there are a couple of things that I did not know. So similarly, from an engineering background, I didn't know a few things. And I wanted to learn those. And I actually drew it out of my faculty, because I would attend those classes with more seriousness, and I would ask those questions, which I could apply in a real life situation. Right? So it is something for me to kind of use my time that I am there with my educational institute, IMT, to my best of, I mean, to my advantage.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just would like to add that, we have doubt clearing sessions as well, which we do not have otherwise in the regular curriculum in the offline mode. But definitely for the online, after maybe 4 or 5 sessions, we have already aligned up the doubt clearing session.
So this is additional. This is like
additional.
tutorials almost.
Yeah, these are like tutorials. Yeah, which we would not have done otherwise, but we are doing it predominantly for the online classes.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally understand, the inhibitions and the doubts, I can totally understand. Because if you remember, as a faculty also, I would say, like when the lockdown started and we were, in a night, in a jiffy, switching to work from home, which was, non-existent. And then, doing, our regular meetings, our classes, it was obviously for us also, it's the same thing in terms of experience. But now, since last 2-3 months, we know that it really didn't make any difference. And the way we used to make, meet in meetings and do our work, get completed, I think similarly, we are managing very well in online and probably more efficiently. Yes. Yeah. So, so the peer interactions and learnings, even like from our own experience, I don't think so. It has, generally, if I share, it has not impacted. Though we also had those doubts. Right. Okay. And I think it's time. And the last question, it's related to placements, which I was expecting, of course. So, placement facility after this. So how IMT is going to assist in terms of placements for this program? Yes, sir. You have handled this.
So I was the program chair of part-time program for 4 years.
Yeah.
So there is a simple point to understand here, that part-time program is not having the placement spot. Okay, so but there is lot of industry interactions which we will do, and you can create your network, and you can use that network to offer yourself as a employee in future. So there is alumni also there, which you can reach out, and there is industry interactions, regular industry interactions. We are having a course on industry inputs only, where industry people come and deliver that course. So we call it, Sudha, what we call it?
There's a new terminology probably.
CIM, Contemporary Issues in Management.
Okay. Contemporary issues in management. So that is what we call it, and it is a total credit coming from the industry. It is every term you are having about 10 to 15 sessions every term. from the industry people, and those are not the normal industry. You are having CEOs, you are having VPs, you are having HR heads, VP HRs coming. Okay, so if you want to get that list from the last year, you can talk to Sudha because she manages the program. So that is how you can create yourself a niche for getting a job in the future.
Yeah, so very, thank you, sir, for the clarity. And yes, as far as this particular program goes, yes, there is no formal support, but informally, there's all the support. So in real terms, it doesn't make much difference. If candidates are geared up and, for their own learning and for their own,
Juuhi wants to add something. Juuhi?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
please.
just, as an alumni, I just want to add one point here. I'm part of the IMT alumni group, WhatsApp group and Telegram group that we have. So I think we have a team in IMT which posts these jobs. So whether we are whether we have done part-time course or we are regulars, I think it does not really matter because they do post these postings that there is a job opportunity in so and so company. So anyone can apply. So I think they're right in saying, although yes, you rightly said that immediately after, like those who are part-timers, they don't have I mean, you can't assure them any job, but otherwise in the long term it does not really matter.
VijayLakshmi, unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, actually, I muted because I was getting a call on my landline. So yeah, I think it's 5, so people must be calling that the webinar is over. But I think, yes, it is over. And the questions are also over. And I think, I hope our participants have learned and gained insights by having an interaction with our faculty and our alums. And I would like to extend a very warm, greetings and thanks to the panelists, especially our alums who are our guests for the day today. And with that, I would like to sign off. I think we had a great discussion, and time just got over, in no time. So thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
And in case there are any more questions, you can always write back to the office, and we would definitely take it. I think this is for the participants. Any further questions?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Wish you the same. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Ms. Juuhi.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
See you again. Bye.